Hi, this is Cheryl. I'm so happy that you're joining me today. Trust that this safe and loving space is exactly where you're supposed to be to ignite your higher self and empower you with this very moment in time. There are no coincidences. Trust the nudges that speak to you. Hello, and welcome to another episode of If It's Light, It's Right. Today, we're going to work on an episode that I think is going to be very interesting to a lot of people out there listening. And it's going to be about guides. I get many questions about guides and choosing guides. And not only choosing guides, but choosing specialty guides. Guides that have expertise, for lack of a better word, even on the other side, and that we can call on anytime we want. Again, anything that we ask for in light and love is always given to us. And I'm going to give you some of my experiences in my guides, in what I choose as specialty guides, as kind of a frame of reference for you to move forward and choose yours. And my share today is a very real share. It's my share. And it is, I'm going to explain and really walk you through my process and how I connected with my guides. So I'm going to show you what kind of guides there are and how you can connect with your guides. And I'm also going to, again, share my experience and a very real and a very, it was a deep share. It's a deep dive in spirit. So I think that you'll enjoy it. I think that you will walk away understanding how to connect with your guides in a deeper fashion. So, when we talk about guides, we have to first start in the spirit world. And there are just some things I want to lay out and just remind you of as we move forward in this journey of the episode. So, I need you to remember, and again, our hearts have all the same collective knowledge. So, open your heart, take what you need. What the other side offers is anything that you can imagine, you receive. And so let me just give you a quick example of that. When we are on the other side, we build and move anything that we choose to. We can't eat on the other side because it is a human exercise, right? Biologically, we have that in human form, but in spirit form, we are just energy. There's no need to eat to gain energy and that sort of thing. But if we enjoy eating, I don't enjoy a lobster roll, but I don't know why a lobster roll is coming to me. But if you enjoy a lobster roll, you can create it on the other side. I love to drive. I love rides. And so I get told and I feel that I love to take car rides on the other side. There are no cars, there are no engines. But again, whatever you imagine to be real or true, it is on the other side. And that is a really important foundational piece to kind of lay as we kind of move forward here. And so you have to just trust it to be true. I will say too, your heart has all your answers. So when you can clear, ask it anything. Sometimes in readings, I have people that get brought forward that love to, I say, do you love to garden? I really do, but I don't do it so much here. And I can see them on the other side gardening. There is no need to garden. But if it's something that you enjoy and you do it so much on the other side, that when we bring those enjoyment pieces from the other side, because remember we're in heaven and peace and tranquility, that when we bring that into our earth life, it gives us joy. It gives us a sense of happiness. So again, when you look into your life right now, maybe you can make experiences and say, you know what, that's so interesting because I really enjoy this, although I don't do this. So open to that. Again, whatever we imagine that we want, we create on the other side. And we can do that here in earth form as well. And that's what I'm going to talk about when we talk about our specialty spirit guides, which I'll get into. And again, reminding the spirit world always wants to help us in this journey. They have their hands out in every way. Again, the challenges that we placed in our lifetimes, and we do place those, the spirit world can help us maneuver through them, but they cannot. We must accomplish what we've chosen to accomplish. But the spirit world doesn't want us to have any more challenges than maybe what we chose. So the spirit world is always asking and giving you the help that you need. And also we have many guides. I get this question quite often. Well, I don't know, like what kind of guides are there? And that's a very that's a big question, because there is so much. There's so many different conversations to have on that. I do. I do know that we have a unique spirit guide. Sometimes we have more than one. I have three. I have three spirit guides, and four that, because I work in mediumship, because I work with the spirit world. So different guides help me in different places. And again, that will be part of the conversation that kind of unfolds here today too. We also have loved ones. Our loved ones on the other side, we give them complete, our spirit gives them complete openness to see my path, give me my nudges, let me know my messages, remind me of my karmic residue that I have to work on in this lifetime. Help me, help me, help me. And again, in my mediumship mediumship sessions, that comes through so often. Seeing, your path, seeing your all the things that you're supposed to accomplish in this lifetime, and giving understanding to why you are where you are. Always in light, love, and comfort it comes through. But again, loved ones are guides. Our past lives I see as guides as well. Parents from a prior lifetime, people that we have asked to help us in this journey. I will say, when past lives get brought forth in readings or in sessions, they really are delivered to people that are very open to that. Not everyone is open to past lives and the understanding of that. If they are not open, it wouldn't be channeled through. But when they do get channeled through, it makes sense to the sitter. It makes sense to the person receiving the messages. And the messages are usually on point to what speaks to them. We also have on the other side angels of all types, our guardians, our all those aspects of angels, our archangels. There's so many different, I guess, specialties or delineations of angels. They are all also our guides. They all help us in this journey. And I have to also say too, the only energy that is perfect, and I'm using this very, very poignantly, is source. My source I call God. That is the only perfection that exists, even in lighted form. No energy or no spirits are perfect, but their experience here on earth, when I talk about spirits, because angels are very powerful, they're very, very much part of help that we can have on the other side. But spirits understand the emotional journey that we have here. So when I talk about spirits and those specialty guides, generally that is what I'm referring to, is the spirits that have walked this earth. They have gained experience not only on this earth's plane, but on the other side, and watching and understanding. And again, they don't have ego on the other side to talk them out of things, to move them away from the lighted truths. So I always, always, always trust the lighted realm far more than any human form, in sometimes including myself. I have to move out of my human form and into my lighted energy in order to hear those truths that will speak to me in my journey. So when we talk about specialty guides, or spirits that can guide us in areas of expertise, I get this question, can I be assigned one? And I say, oh my goodness, yes. You have no limit. You can ask for anything that you need. Be open to any guide that you need. All you have to do is just open your heart for that acknowledgement. There is no, remember, if you're feeling like, oh, I couldn't ask for that, that's not right for me to ask for that, then that's ego. And ego is never a representation of light. So don't fear rejection or fear a guide. Ask for that in love. All you need is your intent. Again, nothing is withheld from you in your journey. You are given all the lighted tools and spiritual guidance that you ask for. Anything that you ask for in light and love is always received. So then, what kind of guides are there? Like, what is my options out there? Um, I'm very interested, and here is where I'll share my guides, and you open to yours. What do you need help in? That would be the first question I say. What do you need guidance in? And I use that word need, because what we need, the spirit world always hands us, in ampleness. So there are no rules. There are no rules. So when we talk, and I'm going to speak in terms of myself, I'm going to share that with you, is spirit guides. I have my unique spirit guide. I call that my best friend spirit guide, and that is someone that helps me in my journey as a human parallel help. And she kind of guides me. She guided me into teaching. She guides me in those pieces of path that I chose. She knows my path. I also have spirit guides that help me with my mediumship. I have a guide, and I have names for all of them. I have a guide that helps me with determining how, gives me information on how a person leaves this earth. I have a guide that communicates with the other side, is kind of my in between, that helps to funnel and helps me to understand the messages that are coming through. And I have another ascended master that also helps me to continuously keep developing and keep moving forward. I also have a medical doctor guide, and I have a vet guide, and that is part of my share today. I'm going to talk about my personal share, and that is with my sweet dog Lucy. So I have a veterinarian guide. His name is Dr. Jake. I also have technology guides. I put together many webinars and many different aspects of circles and that sort of thing. So I have a technology person that helps me to move. Do I use this picture? Is this a word I use? I don't have a name for that guide, that technology guide. I usually just say, okay, I'm going to need some help in technology. Come down and help me with this. So sometimes you can name them, and sometimes I shouldn't say that. You can always name them, but sometimes I choose to name them because I want to bring down that one guide, and sometimes I just open it. Anybody that has these skills, come down and talk to me. And again, anything that you ask for in light and love is always received. We just have to be open for it. And again, sometimes I have names, and sometimes I just ask by specialty. I use that word. No rules. No rules, no rules, no rules. So now I move into, how do I connect with my guides? Okay, so I have a spirit guide, or I have a technology guide, and I need I need their expertise. And why do we choose an expertise guide? Well, as I mentioned earlier on, when we have that expertise per se, on the earth's plane, that is a plus for me. That is okay. So not only do they have the knowledge that I need, they also know the emotional aspect that I need as well. So all those lighted pieces come together beautifully on the other side, and they're learning, and they're also finding out my answers. So very often I will say, okay, I'm going to be coming to you. And again, I'm working at how I connect with guides. They're no different than any other spirit or loved one. And I'll make a date with them, and I'll say, okay, technology, I'll just use technology for a second. My technology person, I'm coming in, and I'm going to need help with this presentation, putting together this presentation. Please, I'll open my thoughts to say, this is my detail, this is what I'm going to need, and I'm going to be working on it today at 6 p.m. So I'm going to be asking for you. So get your answers ready. Get my help ready. And that not only sets my intent of saying, okay, at 6 o'clock, I'm going to open my thoughts to spirit. I'm going to open to what comes through. Maybe it'll come through earlier. Maybe I'll get a sign before that, and that will say, ah, okay, so that will be my topic. And I do that quite often with my episodes in my and how I name them, or those pieces. I get inspirations. So sometimes I will send that out as well. Okay, I'm kind of roadblocked. I want to help me fine tune another episode that will speak to my audience, to the people that come and open their hearts in this beautiful forum that they have created. Give me inspiration, and that will happen. So again, ask what you need. Ask what you need. And so now, how do I really connect with God? So I'm here at 6 p.m. I'm here with my technology. I'm ready to move forward on a presentation or an episode or whatever speaks to me. Uh, First, I want to tell you that you need to meditate. And when I say meditate, and I've said this many times in other episodes, it's not a big take. It can be. I say beautiful if you want to sit and take half an hour. Meditation is just clearing that earth chatter. So for me, because I have practiced it so much, I just can find my space when I can say the words clear or through breathing. And I can feel myself move into that space. It feels light and right to me. And again, that's how you resonate. Am I in that lighted realm? Am I in that space? Whatever that speaks to you, again, we are all on our unique journey. So that feels very different for all of us. Is today not a good day? Is too much happened in my earth's life that I can't really open to spirit? Maybe. And give yourself that opportunity to say, tonight is not my night. I'm not feeling open to that. Again, give yourself that opportunity. But if you are in that space and you're able to, I come here at 6 p.m., I'm looking for technology, I've cleared, I asked, is it resonating? Maybe I say, I need to, can you help me with these words? Can you help me with, spirit worlds love verbs because verbs are action. Verbs are very distinct words. So generally I'll stay with the verb and I'll kind of move, is this a verb that you want? And I'll hear yes or no. And again, that's my process. But ask for signs. It doesn't have to be tonight at 6 p.m. As I mentioned before, give me something. Give me some inspiration. I always say, hit me over the head with it, right? I call it a spiritual mule kick. Ask for signs. And again, if you want to review that, you can go back to my episode 11 where I kind of talk about that in a very foundational piece. Stay open for the interpretation. Sometimes the signs, don't let your human thinking get involved, right? Stay open to what that means in your light and keep walking towards that. Or ask other trusted guides or loved ones. Maybe, and you'll see in my share that my dad, who's passed and he's on the other side, he came to me too with the help that I needed. So be open. Maybe your loved one is who you need to hear from. Just trust what speaks to you. Again, when I want to know something about something, sometimes I bring my doctor guide in and I say, my doctor guide is Dr. Ed. And so I'll say, Dr. Ed, I'm going to need some help. I want to ask this. And trust that that communication happens because what you choose in your light and love, it always happens. What you imagine to be real, trust it. Ask your heart if it feels light and right that your doctor is here or your vet or your technology or that a loved one is here. And if it feels light, it is right. If it doesn't feel light and how light resonates, you might have too much ego there. You might be a little nervous or you might have a little fear. Not trusting all aspects of ego and not with judgment, just with understanding that spirit comes when you are in the lighted realm or when you're open for it. So again, be easy, give yourself love, but know that you can move into spirit anytime that you choose. But know when you're there, you are there. And again, like any connection, some are easy and some are light ass. It depends on where you're going. And I'm going to share one, again, of my personal ask. And it was a difficult ask. I had heaviness. I had fear in my ask. So know that as we kind of go through the share and the wrap up. I want you to kind of enter where I was in my space, in my human and my spirit, because they both were there. They were both, and I was very I was very conscious, and I know that's a human word, but I was very conscious of it. So I knew where my limitations were, and I stopped when I knew I moved into where I knew the light held me. So just stay open to those thoughts. It'll make sense as we kind of go through. So as I mentioned, my share is on my vet, my Dr. Jake. I have the most sweetest dog. Well, she's really not. She's more sassy. Her name is Lucy, and she's a 9-year-old cockapoo. And oh, I love her like my children. Certainly any dog lover understands that comment. And she is as most dogs and animals are, but she's got a higher level consciousness, and understanding. We have a communication that goes beyond words. She understands me, and she understands energy. Very often in readings or certain things, I sense her energy, and I truly talk to her. We have a communication between her, and we can talk to our animals. Trust that to be. And so she is, again, very open to energy. And my ego was creeping in, and I knew I needed some spiritual help on an aspect of her. So she had a mast cell tumor removed around, I want to remember, I think it was about 4 years ago. And the doctor had mentioned that it was in her hind leg, her back hind, and he didn't get on the margin. So keep an eye out to see if it reemerges. And a mast cell tumor has levels, but can be very serious at some point. And so that gives me pause because I just love this, my little Lucy Boosie. And so they said if you note any areas under the skin, any kind of bumps, go right to the doctor and let's analyze that. So I noticed a bump I had never noticed before. It was right in between her breastbone. So it wasn't near her hinds, but I was also told that it could manifest and move anywhere so it didn't, regardless of location. So I immediately felt very nervous and fearful. So when I called the doctor and said, I'd like, it's a new doctor. That doctor that had the mast cell retired, so it was a new doctor. And I said, I need to make an appointment. It's not an emergency, but the appointment was made like 5 days different. It wasn't the next day. It was, I believe, 4 or 5 days. And I recall I made an appointment, and that felt like to move forward on that appointment. So I'm like, okay, do I make an appointment? Yes. Okay. Felt light, moved into it. So I'm still feeling nervous though. Is this something that is life threatening? Is this something that will move to 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 mm, to hurt my sweet Lucy, or to cause her pain, or all aspects of ego, right? Again, when you're using verbs of that, you know that you're an ego. So I knew seeking my truth would be difficult because separating from that high level of verbs, high level of ego, I knew would be difficult. But I also know that I'm a seeker of truth. I I need to know truth. I didn't know how much truth I was going to seek, but I knew I needed some truth because truth is light, and truth is a place that I can move with. So I prayed, and I prayed, and you can certainly stop at that. You don't have to move forward, as I am going to explain. You don't have to move forward with asking a guide. If that is not a place that is comfortable, again, lighted word comfortable, um, then stop at prayer and say, "I leave it in God's hands," or I will walk towards whatever it speaks to. And I say, beautiful. And not that I didn't do that, but that's a place to stop. You don't have to move any further. I chose to. I chose to move forward, and I wanted to speak to my spirit guide, Dr. Jake. That is my spirit guide that I have spiritual confidence in, that I talk to, that gives me guidance. So I asked Dr. Jake to look into my Lucy. I asked, look into my Lucy, look into her path, and get ready for answers for me. I am moving into that space, and I need your help. So I still wrestled with nervousness. even though I asked him, I wasn't ready to move fully into him. And I could feel it, the nervousness and the fear. I wasn't ready for it. So I waited a day or so. I can't recall exactly. And again, life was happening, lots of things going on in my life. So that silence or that quiet wasn't wasn't available to me. And so I I took that and I said, okay, then I'm not going to try and move into. I can't muscle in and demand spirit, demand light. That frustration will serve in the purpose of reverse. So I said, if I can move into silence, I know that Dr. Jake is looking into it because I sent that intent out there. I know that he sees my Lucy. I trust that, but I have not moved further from that. So again, I wrestled with that. Um, I tried to move it into a few rounds, and I could feel ego very strong, having a strong hold on me with the fear. So I moved away. I again, I understand how my spirit works, and how my spirit connections work. And I implore you to kind of lean into yours. So I was patient, no have tos. Remember, no have tos, no musts, because sometimes when you do that, it magnifies ego, and it actually does the reverse of what you're asking your higher self that help with. So when I was ready, my house was quiet. I was sitting on my rug, and I felt at peace. I felt like that's a place that I could kind of walk towards. And so as I was kind of sitting, kind of moving into that space, and of course my Lucy was in the room with me, as she always is, and she just came over to me and started nuzzling me. And for me, that was a sign. Signs come timeliness. Some people call it synchronicity. It's that is very much how signs kind of manifest, because what we need intent on, again, the universe gives us, and there's generally a time aspect to it. So that was a sign to me. Oh, so, but she's very connected to me, so she might have been sending me comfort. Hi, Mama, I see that you're nervous, or wherever. Um, so it was a sign for connection, um, but I kept moving forward. And so I felt it was light for me to ask what I needed. So I moved deeper and was direct with my question. But I also had small steps. And again, I'm just going to share with you my process to see if that speaks to you in some way. Again, edit, adapt, modify. And so I was, again, moving into Dr. Jake, and I said, Dr. Jake, are you with me? And I resonated with the yes. And I asked, did I make a doctor's appointment? Now, you might say, well, why'd you ask that, Cheryl? Because you already did. But again, I'm working with my spiritual confidence. I'm working with my light. I'm seeing if I'm getting the answers that I know are accurate. And so I heard, yes, you did make a doctor appointment. Okay. Is my doctor appointment on Tuesday, which was the wrong answer? And I resonated with the no. And it actually was on a Monday. Was it on Monday? Yes. So again, I'm just, that is just my way of moving in with spirit and really trusting where I'm going. Does she have a lump? Yes. And I think I mentioned, is it in her right quad? No. So again, I'm moving with spirit and feeling, getting deeper and deeper into that light. And then I saw my dad's face. My dad appeared, and he loved Lucy, and he gave me a face of peace and comfort, and it felt warm. And then, sorry, I got choked up. And then Dr. Jake talked to me, and he said that a test would be done and I would get results. A test would be done at the doctor appointment, not in, or something would be done at the doctor appointment, and that results would come. And so, but that's where I stopped. That's where I stopped with my questions. I didn't move forward to say, will she test positive? Will she test negative? Because I felt like that's all the light I could hold, because I could feel ego kind of creeping in with that second question. So that's where I stopped. I just stopped right there. That's where I chose to stop. And again, By the way, the outcome, she was aspirated at the doctor's office, and it was negative for mast cell. So aspiration is they just take a sampling of with a needle, and so they look at it in a microscope, and right there and then told me that it was not mast cell tumor. So deep breath. So, but I want you to remember, for me, in this lighted experience, and keep that lighted experience, Lucy gave me a comforting sign. Dad also gave me a smile that resonated with, she's good. I felt peace with my dad. And Dr. Jake told me a procedure would be done and results would be received. And again, those were the spiritual facts. I'm going to use that. But I say, stay with that and don't interpret what is received using your human mind, your human thinking. For this can invite the ego to impose its heaviness and steer you away from the truth that you're truly seeking, which in turn can shut down that spiritual confidence you gained when getting the message or receiving the message. Receive the message with your light and walk forward as it unfolds. And I really mean that you need to just stay with that, because those messages, I'm going to give you an example. Those messages that I received, those spiritual facts that I received for Lucy's doctor appointment and her mast cell aspect could have supported her testing positive for mast cell tumor. Again, go back to those facts. Dad feeling peace, Lucy nuzzling me, and Dr. Ed saying I would get results. It could have tested positive for mast cell. Those messages maybe would have meant that she will recover. She'll have mast cell, but she'll recover. Or simply that we will be here for you in your time of need. We are watching. We are holding. You asked, and we are here for you. And again, I didn't move further in my spiritual ask because of the possibility of my fear penetrating in and altering my message. And so my experience was maybe deeper than you are spiritually comfortable walking towards. So start on a smaller scale. Is there a specific area of spiritual expertise that calls to you? First, call to the guide, the type of guide you need. Imagine and name that guide, just as I did with Dr. Jake, and then ask what you need guidance in. The key is to clear your thoughts, open yourself to spirit, and trust what just arrives. Be direct. Ask for supporting signs and ongoing messages. The communication will continue as you request it. Always remember, Spirit offers us guidance on anything we need help with. We are never alone on our journey. Ask for what calls to you and be open to receive that guidance. And remember, if it feels light, trust that it is right. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for allowing me to accompany you on your journey. We have so much to learn together. If you have a topic you feel would be beneficial to spiritual growth, feel free to DM me at Cheryl Bradley Medium or email me at hello@CherylBradley.com. Listening to today's episode, I hope you gained an abundance of light to carry you until the next time we are together. Keep the title of this podcast circling with you today and every day. If it's light, it's right. Have a beautiful day.